Say hi. What's your name?
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Say hi to Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Lisa's a little girl. She's a customer here. So what are you doing here?
Having dinner.
He took me into the bathroom, closed the door. I knew I couldn't get away. I knew I wasn't strong enough to fight him. And he put me in the sink and proceeded to try to enter me. And I said I had AIDS, and I told him to put on a condom. And he just smirked at me. He knew, he thought I was lying, which I was, and I knew that he didn't believe me. And I said, come on. I said, why don't you just put on a rubber, right? And I said, come on. And he was trying. I was fighting him a little bit. I was trying, you know, I didn't want him to penetrate me without the rubber. I said, let me go. I won't scream. I'll show you where the rubber is. And so then I went into the bedroom area. I took the rubber out of the drawer, and I handed it to him. I didn't see him put it on.
Foster child. It was very abnormal. I was raped by my foster dad every weekend, both me and my sister. Okay, you know, and it, you know, they call it their bubble bath time. So, you know, I don't even want to talk about this bullshit.
That too, okay. When I was 10 years old, my mama had a lot of men company. Okay, luckily my father got up in time. I wasn't raped, but it was getting close to that point where he had my clothes off, and my father happened to get up, you know, before it really got out of hand. I was 10 years old, but that was because my mama had a lot of traffic in and out of her house.
And I carry condoms all the time.
Yeah?
Constantly.
You make everybody use them?
For everything. I mean, even their hands. I mean, a hand job, I don't do nothing without a condom.
Do you ever get a guy who says they don't want to use one?
Yeah, but you can't pay me enough to die for. I mean, I don't know of anybody or any money enough to die for it.
Yeah.
And once I'm gone, who's going to take care of my kids?
17 years.
17 years? You use condoms?
Oh my God, yes. I've got them right with me right now. I don't want no AIDS. I'm clean.
How many months are you pregnant?
7.
They're having sex. I mean, they're actually having sex because in the bed, if they're lying together, they have to go on top of each other, and remember, they're naked, right?
Does your mom know? Does your mom know? Okay. He would take his clothes off? And he would take your clothes off? And did he tell you what would happen if you didn't do anything? What would he say?
Que si yo decía algo, él iba a hacer lo mismo a mis hermanos.
That he was going to do that to your sisters? Okay. And the first time was when you were 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Where was your mommy?
At work.
At work? And where were your sisters?
Dormidas.
Asleep? And how many times did this happen?
Ya no me acuerdo ya.
More than 10 times or less than 10 times?
More.
More than 10 times? Okay. I need your help. And everything that you told me, is that the truth or is it a lie?
True.
Truth?
¿Aló?
¿No marcó el beeper?
Sí, yo soy. Soy Gloria.
¿Qué pasó?
¿Te acuerdas de lo que me hiciste?
No me acuerdo.
Me estoy sintiendo bien mal. Acá rato ando vomitando.
Estás soñando, tú, yo no sé.
No estoy soñando. Solo te digo que me estoy sintiendo bien mal. Que cada rato ando vomitando y creo que estoy embarazada. No lo niegues.
No te hice nada yo.
¿Ahora sí lo vas a negar? Las noches que mi mamá se iba a trabajar, bien que allí ibas, ¿verdad? Ni siquiera me tocaste. ¿Estás seguro? ¿Vas a pagar por el aborto?
¿Un aborto?
¿Cómo que cuál? Te estoy diciendo. Ya te dije que tal vez estoy embarazada.
Ay, Lore, ¿cómo vas a estar embarazada si yo ni siquiera te toqué, hombre?
Ayúdame. Me colgo.
Why does everybody put me through it? Because I let my stupid ass put myself through it, right? Because life is tearing me apart, is what it's doing.
You could change that. And you got the best kids in the world.
Well, I ain't got them.
Katie's got the best kids in the world. I don't have my kids because of what I do and because how I want to be. I'm not ready to be no mother. I don't want my kids.
For all those hopes and things that you had a lot of hopes as a kid when I met you.
Those were only hopes and dreams, Marilyn. Thoughts.
Yeah, but you
Does
can make
anything
those
ever
thoughts
happen? No.
It can happen if you make it happen. You wanted kids really badly, and you have 3 fantastic kids. You remember how much you wanted kids? That happened.
They're all bastards.
Maddie, please come home. Mom and Daddy and Jesse are ready for you to come on home.
I done suffered a lot. I can't sleep at night. I can't hardly eat. You know, I'm working. I can barely get up in the morning to go to work because my baby is still on my mind. The whole issue with him in Vegas, watching my child being molested, being strangled, being killed, being raped. You know, these people done just tore my life apart.
David, I want you to know you are accessory to my child's murder, and I'm not gonna give up on you, David. I will not give up on you, David. He's evil. He's evil. He's evil. This is a child that do not need to be in your presence.
Well, first of all, I would like to say, first giving honor to God, who's the head of my life. The reason why I'm here today is to let the world know that there's another murderer out there that's accessory to my child's murderer. And I would like to let everyone know that this Jeremy Strohmeyer, he's incarcerated. But the first person that I'm going after right now is David Cash because he was an accessory to my child's murderer. He sat there in the bathroom, he watched it, did nothing at all about it. He could have went to the securities. He could have went to anyone, an adult. He watched his friend, his best friend, as he say, go into a restroom, put his hand over his mouth, put his hands over my child's mouth, where he raped her, strangled her, and molested my child for no apparent reason. Well, that's something that I really don't want to discuss right now at the moment, but I will let you know how I got the call. I got the call that Sunday morning, where I didn't get the phone call, but my sister, she told me about whatever happened. I was so crazy in my head, drawn, stung, state of shock, ain't realizing what happened to my child, and I can't believe it. You mean tell me I gotta hear something where somebody took my child's life, did my child like that, and she couldn't defend herself? Just imagine if it was your child. Imagine if it was any human, period. Something has to be did about this. Not only to David Cash for seeing it, and he didn't do that, or Jeremy, but anybody out there, because you never know what I went through. I am suffering a lot of pain. I'm a 28-year-old mother, but I don't have that pretty child that you see on that screen right now. You know what I'm saying? So it hurts.
You know how the Brady Bunch, Marsha, Jen, and Cindy, everybody wanted to be like Marsha because there was nothing that Marsha couldn't do. Marsha would be on the in the mirror, all into her looks. But then she could also do what Greg do, like the Boy Scouts and all that. That's Ryan. It was nothing that she couldn't do. But then they asked me, is she a runaway child? Is she sexually active? Is she a drug addict? And do she do drugs? And it pissed me off that I cursed, and I was like, hell no, my daughter ain't no drug addict, and she ain't sexually active. Well, you'll be surprised what some 11-year-olds do, is what the officer told me. And my words to him were, I can't speak for all the 11-year-olds, but I know what that one doing, and it ain't that. When I go, it's like going for the very first time, like when I took her, that I didn't want to be there, and I knew she shouldn't be here. And it's like I just want to lay down with her.
I didn't know what was happening. I knew that she was saying it hurt and she was crying out. And she looked at me and he saw her look at me, and so he yelled at me to leave the room and not to tell. And he threatened me and cursed at me, and so I ran back down to my room and hid under the blankets.
How often did this happen?
It seemed like all the time. I must have been about 12 when he started the fondling that I remember. He would make me perform oral sex. So that was about 12, 13.
12-year-old?
Right. Right. And I think I was spared actual intercourse because I think my sister kept intervening. Yeah. She knew. She always knew.
You were telling your mother when your father did something to you?
Right. I would ask her not to leave me home with him because I knew he was planning on doing something, and she would always leave me alone with him. Even when I would beg her, I would clutch at her clothes and at her body and say, "Don't leave me." She would. I told him no, and he was just pulling me by my arm, and I was pretty young. You know, I didn't weigh much. He would just pull me around like a rag doll, and he threw me down on their bed. Or it might have been the floor in the living room. I can't remember now. And he proceeded to just rape me. I didn't know then when you're a virgin that you bleed the first time. I was unaware of that. And I was bleeding, and there had been spots of blood and stuff on the sheets that we had used. And when Darlene came home, she saw that. And she acted like nothing happened.
What'd she say?
She asked me if he pulled out. I didn't know what she meant.
She was afraid that he'd made you pregnant.
Right.
To these people talking, just please let Christina go. She's just a wonderful kid. Please. I can imagine somebody do that to her. She's just a wonderful, she's a nice kid. Please, just let her go. I know you are just driving around looking for somebody. We know these bad people, they are around. They are around us, driving around, looking for innocent children like our daughter Christina. I don't know, I know North Express, but it's difficult for us. But here we are, keep going. Just think positive and keep ourselves busy.
Somebody decided that she didn't have the right to be with her family that loved her. And they took her. And I will get her back. If it takes the rest of my life, I will get her back.
Daddy got switches out of trees, his belt out of his room. He whooped them bad. He hit them hard. They screamed like deadly murder. I hid Abigail in the closet and hid myself on my bed with my pillow over my head so I didn't hear it. Every time we didn't make it to the restroom and we used it in our underwear, well, he made us wear them on our heads. Guess what? Our brother shot our daddy.
Well, what I can tell you is that I was, just like the psychologist said, I didn't want to put tremendous fear on my children. And my daughter Megan walked into someone's home, was brutally raped and murdered. This is the reality of what we live. And our children have to be made aware of who is out there. We replace the fear with education. Sexual abuse has been hidden in the closet too long, and it's time that we start addressing it and making our kids further aware.
I blame myself. I really do. I can't stand myself because I let that man take my child. I need to know. I need to find my baby.